All right, so today we're going on a deep dive into color psychology.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was looking over the research that you sent me, and I never really realized how much color
Yeah.
really impacts us psychologically and even like down to decision making.
Yeah.
You know?
It's one of those things that's all around us all the time,
Yeah.
but we don't really think about it a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And we always hear about like certain colors and the feelings that they evoke, like blue,
Right.
is always supposed to be calming and
Mm.
and promote focus.
Yeah.
But I never realized how much research there actually is to back that up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a ton of studies out there that have looked at the effects of color on everything from our mood
Right.
to our productivity to even, like you said, our decision making.
Yeah, so let's dive into some specifics, like with blue, for example.
Yeah.
I know you sent over a study about
Yeah.
cortisol levels.
Yes. That was a really interesting one.
Yeah.
So they had people in different colored rooms and they measured their cortisol levels, which is like the stress hormone, right? And
Yeah.
people who were in the blue rooms had significantly lower cortisol levels than those who were in, say, like a red room.
So it's not just like
Yeah.
a perceived thing. It's actually like a
Yeah.
physiological response.
Exactly. It's measurable.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that makes me think about red, because we talk about blue being calming, but red is almost like the opposite,
Totally.
right? Like it's very attention grabbing.
It is, yeah. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of that has to do with our sort of like primal instincts, you know?
Okay.
Because if you think about it in nature, red is often a warning sign, right? It's the color of fire, it's the color of blood.
Right.
So we're kind of hardwired to pay attention to it.
So like stop signs and
Exactly. Stop signs, sale signs, anything that's trying to really grab your attention.
yeah, it's like your brain is saying like, oh,
Yeah.
something important is happening here.
Exactly. Pay attention.
Pay
Yeah.
attention. So red is very much like that high alert kind of thing.
That high energy.
Okay, so then where does yellow fall into all of this? Because, we talk about yellow and it's very often associated with happiness and like energy and optimism. And you sent some information about how it's used a lot in creative spaces.
Yeah, I think with yellow, it's interesting because it's got that connection to sunlight, right?
Right.
Which we know is a natural mood booster.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that it would evoke those feelings of happiness and optimism.
So it's like our brain is associating it with like, the sun shining and things are good. And
Exactly. Yeah. And then also, if you think about it, a lot of flowers are yellow.
oh, that's true.
And flowers often represent like growth and new beginnings.
That makes total sense.
So there's all these kind of like positive associations that we have with yellow.
So using it in a creative space is kind of like trying to, get those creative juices flowing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just kind of like spark that imagination.
I like that. Okay, so we've got one more color I want to touch on, which is green. Green is very often associated with like peace and tranquility and growth.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that like a lot of companies that are really trying to present themselves as like, eco-friendly and
Yeah.
and natural and, all of that, they tend to use a lot of green in their branding.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think with green, it's that really strong connection to nature, right? Like it's the color of trees and grass and all that.
Right.
And so we kind of instinctively associate it with those feelings of peace and renewal that we get from being in nature.
So it's like bringing the outdoors in a way,
Exactly.
but in a very specific way.
Yes.
Not just like, houseplants,
Yeah.
but like actually incorporating that color green.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It's powerful stuff.
It is powerful stuff. So knowing all of this,
Yeah.
I mean, how can we actually use color psychology to our advantage in our everyday lives?
Yeah.
Like what are some things that people can do?
Well, I think the first step is just to be more mindful of the colors that you're surrounding yourself with. So like you were saying, if you're feeling stressed, maybe try adding some blue to your workspace. Maybe get a blue desk lamp or something.
Right.
Or if you're feeling kind of sluggish and you need a boost of energy, maybe try incorporating some red or yellow into your wardrobe.
Okay.
Wear a bright red shirt or something.
Yeah.
Just kind of experiment and see how different colors make you feel.
So it's really about understanding how colors impact you
Yeah.
personally,
Exactly.
and then using that knowledge to kind of create the environment and the mood that you want.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great advice.
Wow.
Well, I think this has been a really fascinating deep dive into color psychology.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much we don't realize the impact that something as simple as color
Mm-hmm.
can have on us.
It's everywhere.
It is everywhere, and so paying
Yeah.
attention to it is important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.
Sounds good.
All right, bye.
Why?